real quick, and let's listen.
I was just kind of pointing, and she's like, don't you point at me. And I was like, oh, shouldn't have said that. And I didn't say a word.
Don't point at me? A fan lifts a finger just to say hello, and this is the moment she chooses to put on camera. Sophie Cunningham is suddenly everywhere this week, and none of it is about a box score. So what is actually going on here?
And for those just listening, Sophie has the highest three-point percentage in the WNBA since joining the Fever. That's pretty electric. Okay, Steph.
So I was right. She got the highest three-point percentage.
Start with the number, because the number is the reason people are paying attention. On her own podcast, they point out that since the day she joined the Indiana Fever, Cunningham has owned the highest three-point percentage in the entire league. Not top 10, the best. The word they use for it is electric, and on the tape, it is hard to argue. She is knocking down shots at a rate that most shooters only dream about. So keep that in your back pocket, because it is going to make the next part of this story almost impossible to explain.
Yeah, but I think I've been kind of not shooting the ball so well so far this year, but I think I'm starting to heat up a little bit.
You probably have the highest three-point percentage out of anyone who wears long sleeves, WNBA.
I like that.
That should be, you should get a plaque for that or like a trophy.
There's a stat for everything nowadays. We could find something I'm good at.
Wearing long sleeves and shooting the rock, it sounds like, and getting teed up.
I like that.
Oh, I got
That's a
stat
good.
for you. Oh,
And she's not even satisfied with that. Listen to how she talks about herself here. She admits she hasn't been shooting the ball as well as she wanted early in the year, but she says she can feel it. She's starting to heat up. And then comes the line that tells you she knows exactly how good she is, delivered as a joke. She's got the best three-point percentage of anyone in the league who wears long sleeves. It's funny, it's humble on the surface, but underneath it is a player who is quietly aware that she is one of the most efficient scorers in the sport. Now hold that image. A shooter this hot, this confident, on one of the most watched teams in the country. When the All-Star selections came out, you would assume her name is right there near the top. It wasn't. And the reason her name wasn't on that list is where this whole thing starts to get uncomfortable.
You did All-Star voting?
Oh, let's go. I voted this morning because the Fever tweeted the meme also, and it was like All-Star voting. Again, Fever with a classy post.
Yes.
Using the meme and linking All-Star voting. So I hopped on.
Yeah, but I think like AB, Caitlin, and Kels are all up there.
Watch what she does about it, because it flips the entire narrative. She pulls up the All-Star ballot on her phone, live, right there on the show. And she doesn't campaign for herself. She starts voting for her teammates. She names Aaliyah Boston. She names Caitlin Clark. She names Kelsey Mitchell. She mentions that the Fever's own account posted the voting link with a meme that morning. So she hopped on and backed the people around her. Sit with that for a second. She is 15th in the fan voting. 15th, passed over. And her first instinct is to lift up everyone else on the roster. That is not a bitter player. That is a genuine team player getting overlooked while she does the overlooking for everyone else. And it is exactly why a very specific campaign has started around her. One that has nothing to do with All-Star Weekend and everything to do with what this league might actually owe her. But the real story is not the snub, and it is not the campaign. The real story is what she says about her own locker room a few minutes later. And once you hear it, this cheerful clip is going to feel completely different.
That's great. That's great. They should be. And we're not even like playing good basketball yet, which blows me.
Right.
It's driving me nuts. Driving me nuts.
You think it's just going to happen overnight one day, or does there need to be a little like what do we need? A little players only meeting, players only practice?
Ooh,
or like or you just need to get your ass kicked and like really have a wake up game? Like what?
Because here is the pivot. The conversation turns to whether the Fever are finally about to turn a corner. And instead of the polished, media-trained answer, she just says it flat out. They are not even playing good basketball yet, and it is driving her nuts. Read that again and think about the weight of it. This is a team that walked into the season buried in championship expectations. The Caitlin Clark spotlight, the sold-out arenas, the national television windows, the whole sport pointing at Indiana as the future. And one of their veterans, on the record, is admitting the product on the floor is not good. Not a critic saying it, not an anonymous leak. The player herself into a microphone on purpose. Fans wanted the league to give her a signature shoe because of the shooting. Suddenly the shoe talk is background noise because a star just cracked open a door on the exact thing the organization keeps insisting is under control. So which version is real? A team that's just a step behind and rounding into form, or a star quietly telling on a locker room that is further gone than anyone wanted to say out loud? Her very next sentence leans hard, and it leans in the direction nobody in that building wants to hear.
In the W or even college, what really turns the tide to you in in a rough patch?
I think a really good one, a come to Jesus meeting, or two, a good team bonding. A good team bonding experience. That could be like a...
Whoa.
There it is. She's asked what actually turns a season around during a rough patch. And she does not say more film. She does not say more reps. She says the team needs a come to Jesus meeting and some serious team bonding. Now look closely at that language, because that phrase does not come out of a healthy room. Nobody calls for a come to Jesus meeting when everyone is bought in and pulling in the same direction. You call for one when something underneath has gone quiet, or tense, or divided, and somebody finally decides to say the thing everyone is feeling. And I want to be careful here, because this matters. She does not accuse a single teammate of anything, and neither will I. She is not naming names. There is no verified report of a rift with any specific player, and anyone telling you they know exactly who the problem is guessing. What she is describing is a temperature, a feeling in the room. But when the person feeling that temperature is one of your trusted veterans, and she's saying it into a podcast mic instead of behind a closed door, that is a signal you cannot ignore. And it runs directly into what the head coach has been telling the public all season.
Shout out to Sophie.
Fun dinner,
Laser tag.
something like
Toy Story 5.
Sometimes, I'm not kidding, sometimes you just have to get away from basketball because we invalid, this is our job, so I'm not complaining, but we practice a lot and our practices are a little long, and sometimes you just need to get away from it. And so maybe we should try both, a team bonding and then...
Because publicly, the word out of Indiana has been that everything is fine. Head coach Stephanie White has essentially brushed off the idea that there's a deeper problem, framing the slow start as the normal grind of a long season. And then you hear Cunningham describe that same grind, and it lands like a completely different report. She talks about how much they practice, how the practices run long, and how sometimes you simply have to get all the way away from basketball to make it through the year. She is careful. She says she is not complaining. She knows they're blessed to do this for a living. But listen to what's sitting underneath the politeness. A veteran is telling you the workload is heavy, the room is worn down, and the solution she is reaching for is not more basketball. It is less. It is connection. When the coach says the issue is basically nothing, and one of her most respected players says the issue is that everybody needs to breathe and reconnect as human beings, those are two very different diagnoses of the same sick patient. And only one of those two people is inside the huddle every single night.
Soph, could you maybe be a captain in this situation and organize something fun in Indianapolis? Like maybe a big dinner reservation in the downstairs of St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
Dude,
that sounds fun.
We're about to go on a 14-day road trip to the West Coast, and I think we're gonna do some fun stuff as a team because we go to Vegas, LA, Phoenix, Vegas. So
wow.
And the timing of all this could not be sharper because of where this team is headed next. Cunningham lays the schedule out herself. They are staring down a 14-day road trip to the West Coast, a full gauntlet. Vegas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and then back through Vegas again. If you know anything about the professional game, you know a trip like that does one of two things. It either welds a team together or it snaps it in half. 2 straight weeks living out of hotels, plane to bus, to arena, no home crowd, no home bed, everyone in each other's pocket for 14 days. For a group that a veteran just described as needing a come-to-Jesus meeting, that trip is either the best medicine imaginable or a slow-motion disaster that everyone can see coming. And she clearly understands the stakes. She frames the trip as an opportunity, a chance to do fun things together, and maybe finally build the thing that has been missing. Which brings us to the actual question at the center of this entire video. Is Sophie Cunningham exposing a problem on this team, or is she quietly raising her hand to fix it herself?
Plan. I think that would be really good for us. You know.
What if you guys just got absolutely fucking buckled in the casino in Vegas and everyone misses curfew and you guys lose by 35?
Well, yeah, we don't have curfew, but
And this little exchange is where you start to get your answer. The host throws a nightmare at her, the kind of scenario most players would flinch at. What if the team gets to Vegas, gets blown out by 45, everybody hits the casino, and the whole roster misses curfew? And instead of getting defensive or precious about it, she laughs. She points out they don't even have a curfew, and she treats the whole idea like an inside joke. That is not the reaction of a player who is drowning. That is the reaction of a player who is comfortable, loose, and has very obviously survived messy locker rooms before. This is exactly the profile of veteran a team goes out and acquires on purpose. Someone who is not rattled by a little chaos, who has been through the fire, who can keep a young room from tightening up, and the very next thing she says makes it clear she believes a dose of that chaos might be precisely what this uptight, underperforming team is missing. And it comes from one specific memory that explains everything.
you know, it's funny you say that because in Vegas, when we knew we played, this was when I was with Phoenix. In Vegas, when we knew we made playoffs, we always played like our last game up there for some reason. Like it's just how the schedule worked. And we would always have a huge team dinner and just get like everyone.
This is the moment it all clicks. She reaches back into her Phoenix days and tells a story that reveals exactly how she reads a locker room. Back then, whenever the team clinched a playoff spot, they had a tradition. One massive team dinner, everybody out together, eating and staying up until 4 in the morning, and then having to play a real game the very next day. Sometimes they won off the back of it. Plenty of times they lost, but that was never the point of it. The point, in her words, was the kumbaya, the closeness right before the pressure of the playoffs came crashing down on all of them. She is not telling that story as a cute aside. She is handing you her entire philosophy of what makes a team actually dangerous. It is not flawless practices. It is not a perfect film session. It is a group of people who genuinely want to go to war for each other. And she is looking at this fever roster stacked with talent and hype and money, and seeing the one thing none of that can buy.
Drinking, eating out till 4 a.m. and then we had to play the next day. But it was just like a tradition. Sometimes we won, majority of times we didn't, but like it was just like a little kumbaya before playoffs started. And it was so fun. So shit. I'll try anything at this point with this team.
Wow. Guys,
And then she says the line that reframes this whole story. She says she will try anything at this point with this team. Anything. Think about how loaded that word is coming from a professional athlete. That is not a player quitting on a season. That is a player who has decided she is finished waiting around for someone else to fix the room. And she is stepping into the leadership vacuum herself. So here is where every thread ties together. The All-Star snub was real, and it stung. And by the numbers, she probably deserved far better than 15th. But the snub was never the headline. The headline is that one of the most self-aware veterans on this roster just told the entire internet that her talented, hyped, expensive team is not right yet, that it needs a come-to-Jesus meeting and a lot of bonding, and that she personally is willing to try anything to get there. All while the front office and the coaching staff keep insisting nothing is wrong. Both of those things cannot stay true forever. Something on this team is about to give. Either that West Coast trip becomes the moment they finally lock in, or Sophie Cunningham's honesty becomes the first visible crack in a season that was supposed to end with a trophy. So you tell me, is she a locker room problem drawing attention to herself? Or is she the only person in that building honest enough to say out loud what everyone can already see? Drop where you land in the comments, because I genuinely want to read every side of this one. If this breakdown showed you something the highlight shows didn't, tap that like button, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next breakdown. Peace.